the Joy Sustainability Month, brought to you in partnership with Fidelity Bank, Believer, that's PwC, and Optima Solar Systems. If you need solar systems in your home, just go online, Google Optima Solar Systems, go on Facebook, Optima Solar Systems. They have a lot of solutions for you, for your home, for your office, for your farm, for your factories. Optima has you covered. Talk to them today and get the best solar solutions. Ray, good morning once again. Raymond Okrofu is my guest, chartered environmentalist. We know chartered accountants.
Yeah.
Chartered environmentalist. Tell me about that.
Well, those of us who studied environmental science, there is a body that regulates our activities. So you need to sit for their exam, the professional exam, and then if you pass, then you get recognized as a chartered environmentalist.
I want to assume that exam is very difficult because environmental studies is just like crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been in the environment space for close to 15 years now. Like you rightly introduced me, I started Safisana, and then I've moved on to some other things, but I still serve on the board of Safisana. So I'm still very much in touch, ensuring that what we started continues and even expand. Safisana is expanding now from Accra to Kumasi and other cities.
Oh, you're building one in Kumasi as well?
Yes.
Interesting. When we met, when we became friends, you didn't have grey hair. And I wasn't bald. Now my hair is not growing. You have grey.
Yes, that's true.
Now let's talk about the waste problem in the country.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this year we've not really had any big event that has brought the waste conversation to the fore, unless a few spot issues here, like the Medina intersection, Medina Market waste, and some waste issues around us. And a group like the Bus Stop Boys, because of the activities, you see a lot of work being done on social media. But waste has been a problem over the years. Have you seen any improvements based on the work you've done and where you stand in the industry?
Well, that's a big question, because not as much as we would have loved to see, because waste is still a problem for us, although it shouldn't be a problem. Especially the major cities, population is increasing, and then we see a lot of challenges managing the waste in the urban space. So yes, something is being done, but we see very little improvement, which is very unfortunate.
You mentioned the urban space. Is that to assume that waste management in the rural setup is better?
Not exactly, but because of the population in the urban space, we see the impact more in the cities than in the villages. But I can tell you that waste is actually a problem for almost every municipality in Ghana, especially liquid waste management in the hinterlands. I mean, in the cities we see the impact of solid waste more, but I can tell you that in the smaller towns and villages, managing liquid waste, especially fecal waste, is a big issue. There are no dumping site, and then they just dump it in the nearby bushes, which is contaminating our groundwater, spreading diseases here and there. Sanitation is a problem in the whole country.
Over the years, we've spoken about investing in waste. We've spoken about waste policies and all that. Is it that the problem persists because of lack of investment or because of bad policies? What really is driving all these things we see in our cities and our urban areas? Yeah,
Kojo, thank you for that question, because the waste sector in Ghana is gradually becoming a graveyard for many policies.
It's becoming a graveyard.
In the last 10 years, I don't know how many policies we have developed to manage waste in Ghana. So many of them. But we only say with our mouths what we do not believe in our hearts. So we develop the policies, and then they never get implemented. for whatever reason, I don't know. Because waste should not be a problem. Waste should actually be a resource for us to use to generate income, to generate jobs, and also to make our environment clean. We are a nation of Christians, and then the Bible says cleanliness is next to godliness, and yet our environment is so filthy, and we worship God in that, which is not the best. But I can't imagine why we develop a lot of policies, so many strategies develop, and we just leave them to rot on the shelves.
I'm looking at the World Bank's Ghana Environmental Assessment Report. That estimates that the cost of pollution and waste in Ghana amounts to approximately $6.3 billion annually.
There you go.
Which is big.
Yes.
If you compare that to the 2017 GDP, that's about 11% of our 2017 GDP. Now, this cost includes damages from air pollution, water pollution, plastics pollution, e-waste, land degradation, deforestation, and coastal erosion. And air pollution is costing us about $2 billion annually, causing premature deaths, nearly 16,000 people each year, and major health issues, especially among children and the elderly. You mentioned groundwater pollution and water pollution. Is also, the damages is equivalent to about 3% of our GDP. And plastics pollution also severely affecting drainage systems and oceans, with over 3,000 metric tons of plastic waste produced daily. These are huge numbers. Huge. $6.3 billion. The estimated cost of pollution and waste in Ghana annually.
Exactly. What you don't have in that list is, or which cannot be quantified, is also the reduction of self-dignity, which also comes to us as a huge cost. Because if we live in filthy environment, it doesn't speak well of us as human beings. We are put here for a reason, to make the environment clean for ourselves. And yet, look at the kind of figures you are mentioning, and we keep on throwing monies at some of these things, and we don't see the results, which is very unfortunate.
Is waste really waste? Or is a resource we've not figured out how to optimize for better returns?
Fantastic. The name waste alone has a problem. We shouldn't be calling it waste, actually, because in recent time, people are carving all manner of names for it: material in transition, MIT, resource in transition, those type of things. And I think, yes, they are all good, because when we call it waste, it suggests that there's nothing we can do with it. But in actual fact, everything we call waste can be turned into something else. Everything, from the organics to the liquid waste to medical waste, to everything can be turned into something else, including even waste oil can be turned into something else. You and I were having a discussion about how cooking oil is transformed into something else, and then it's a huge thing that we should look at. So I don't think we are doing much for ourselves if we leave all these resources to go waste. There's a lot of money we can make from that.
And talking about cooking oil and about that company, so there's a company in Ghana that goes around collecting spent cooking oil. So you see all our restaurants and eateries, they'll fry using the same oil for, say, 3, 4, 5 times, right? Now, that spent cooking oil, this company doesn't let it go free. I don't want to use the word waste. They buy this spent cooking oil and process the cooking oil into biofuels, which they sell into the market and make a lot of money. So there are opportunities for all of us to make money in the waste system.
Exactly. And there's actually a small factory now in Ho that is also doing that. But at a very small scale. I visited them a couple of months ago, and I was really impressed. Such a company must be given a push.
They are using cooking
oil, yes. Waste cooking oil to in fact, they refine it into biofuel, like you said, but it's at a very small level currently. But so they are using it in lamps and to generate some electricity in very small generators.
Wow!
So it's at a very small scale now, and if we are able to give a push to such a company, I'm sure we can make some money there as well.
This is the Super Morning Show. We are talking waste to wealth this morning as part of our Sustainability Month. My guest is Raymond Okrofu. Raymond is the He's a chartered environmentalist. He's a former manager for Safisana Ghana Limited, a company that uses fecal waste and market waste basically to generate electricity and also make fertilizer. And he's also a managing environmental consultant. Ray, before we went on the break, we're talking about how we see waste differently, the opportunities in the various value chains, and how we can create wealth, and also opportunities for people to make money out of waste. Over to you to take us through.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, let's characterize the waste broadly into two big groups. We have the solid and then we have the liquid.
Okay.
So we'll come to the liquid, but let me first take the solid waste. So when you take the solid waste as we see it, there are various components of the waste. So the biggest component is the organic part. So in Ghana, we say that the solid component has about 60 to 65% of organics, and that's a huge potential for compost production, for biogas generation, like what we do in Safisana. For example, we take the waste from the market, from the abattoir, from other places, chop bars, and then put it through a system. We harvest the gas from it, we ferment it, harvest the gas, and then the dry matter, we compost it as organic fertilizer. So that's, just processing solid waste, you can get about 3 different outputs. You have the gas, which is used for electricity generation, and by the way, you said it's the first company in Ghana making waste to energy. It's actually first in West Africa, the whole of West Africa. So it's the first grid connected biogas plant. So there are small ones, but the ones that is connected to the grid is the first one in the whole of West Africa. And like I said, we are expanding to Kumasi and other cities very soon. So apart from the electricity, you can also compost the dry matter for organic fertilizer, and even the water that comes out of the digester can be cleaned for irrigation because it's full of nutrients. So just one waste stream, you get 3 different components from it, and that's a lot of money if you do it very well.
So in our attempt to increase electricity access across the country, for example, in the rural areas and in far away places,
off-grid areas.
In some of the places we call overseas.
Exactly.
Instead of spending so much money to get, say, Grid Co and ECG to extend lines to these places, this your waste to energy solution could easily be deployed in those places to create value.
Fantastic. Once you have enough waste to generate the volume of gas we are talking about, it can perfectly suit what we call the standalone systems. So you don't need to extend the grid lines and buy transformers and all that, which adds to the cost of electricity. You can put it on island communities, you can put it in hard to reach areas, mountainous places, and then you can generate your gas, produce electricity on site, and just do it through a mini grid system, which is will reduce the cost of the electricity drastically. So that's how it works.
So places like Afram Plains, for example, where there's a lot of cattle rearing, there's a lot of farming, they can just take a lot of the cattle waste, bring it in, produce electricity and distribute to the local area. Then they take the fertilizer, which is a byproduct from the process, for the farming.
Exactly. You have said it just the way it should be said, because that's the way that system is designed to work. Okay. So so that's the organic component, which is the biggest part, and it's also the most difficult part, because that is the part that smells when you take the entire waste meal. When the organic component is fermenting, that is what brings out the stench. And if you can handle it in this way, put it through a digester system, you trap all the smell and then monetize the smell, basically. And that's how it works. Now the other component you can talk about is also there's something we call the residual waste, or the inert materials. Because we don't segregate waste, and then we just mix everything together in Ghana, it makes the inert materials component quite high. That's about 20% of the entire waste we generate is considered inert, because the the organics mix up with some plastics, and you can't really do much with those ones. Those are the ones who consider in it. Or sometimes materials, fabrics getting rotten, mix up with organics. You can't really do much with that. Those are the ones who consider in it. But even that, I mean, there are technologies that can squeeze out the organics even out of that. But that one, we are talking about high tech. We can do the very simple things for now. Make sure we segregate waste, get the organics out, and plastics, very important. Plastics is a lot of money. I mean, it's nuisance as we see it around. But if you do it very well, segregate plastics very well, you can produce pellets out of it. People are using plastic to do concrete blocks and tiles. You mix the plastics with sand, and then you have, there's a company again in Ashaman doing that now currently. These are companies we need to promote, because look at the havoc plastic is causing in our society. If we can get 2 or 3 of those companies, large scale, dotted around Accra, we will be solving the plastic problem to a very large extent.
So there's a company that takes plastic waste to produce tiles.
Yes.
I also recently discovered that Macintosh Africa is using plastics.
Yes.
Plastic waste.
Exactly.
That is the sachet from pure water. Let me use the street expression, pure water sachets, to make roofing sheets.
Yes.
So in an industry like this, someone like Wobeti and I could say we are partnering, get a truck. And aggregate plastic and sell to these companies to use to.
Fantastic.
So there's a business opportunity.
There's a business opportunity in there. Yes. And then we also have a lot of paper products in the waste. Paper is also something that is easily recyclable. You can turn paper into toilet roll. You can turn paper into cardboards. You can turn paper into egg crates, and all those things. And we import all these things from China and other places, which you can easily produce. It's not difficult at all to produce egg crates from recycled paper. It's not difficult at all to produce cardboard from recycled paper. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in there as well. And then as for the metals, we hardly see them because there's a lot of value in the metals.
Yes.
But that's also a major component of our waste stream, because you see the boys going around with those tricycles picking all the metals all the time. So that is because there's a lot of money to be made from the metals.
So in all our waste challenge,
yes,
because the people in the metal industry really built a very good value chain.
Exactly.
Now their business is even becoming a threat on the city.
Thank you.
To the point where people are stealing.
They are stealing
all sorts of metal accessories. Not even that. Even road furnishings.
Yes, exactly.
They are stealing also. So waste actually, when you build the value chain and the industry very well, becomes an asset that becomes irresistible. Like now metal waste has become an irresistible asset.
Yes, and it generates a lot of jobs.
What lessons can the other segments learn from this, the metal industry?
I think we need to put value in the various components. Once there's value, like I'm saying, we spend a lot of money to import crates from China and other places.
Egg crates?
Yes, egg crates.
Wow.
It's imported. If we can do that, I know there are some companies in Tema doing it, but also they are not able to meet the local demand, so people import some of those things. We can create those things here and generate a lot of wealth out of that. So there's a lot to be done, and we just need to encourage ourselves and see waste as a resource and not as waste, and then we can make a lot of money. Then there's also a big component, textiles, very, very important. So in the waste recycling or the waste management sector, we have recycling and upcycling. So textile, for example, can be upcycled. Upcycling simply means that you don't do anything to change the form in which the thing is. You just turn into another thing. Like I'm sure you've seen sachet water rubbers being turned into bags, so market bags. That's upcycling. you can take jeans, for example, cut it and then just sew bag out of it, or pairs out of it. That's upcycling. So all those things can generate a lot of income for people. So we need to look at that. And of course, some of the textile materials can also be recycled completely. So there's again a long chain of activities in that area as well. And then we also have glass, which is something that can also easily be recycled, very easily.
But we have businesses doing that here.
Oh yeah, some of the pharmaceuticals and breweries do their own bottles.
Okay.
Yeah, so
locally.
Yes, locally. Yes.
And they use glass.
Exactly. They take the glass from, I think even Kasapreku does a bit of that.
Okay.
So yeah, they do that and bottle their.
Why do we not know about it to take advantage of it?
Yeah. Well, it's up to us.
Or you, the chartered environmentalists, have captured the market.
Okay, so anyway, not necessarily. I mean, it's there for all of us. You just have to plug yourself in the chain and then discover, one or two areas where you can function effectively, and then the job is there for all of us.
Raymond, so you've explained everything from organic waste to paper to glass to plastics.
And let me say just one word about the liquid side as well. That's also huge potential in there. Again, in Safisana, we mix the solid with the liquid waste. Liquid waste, which includes fecal waste. So some of the trucks come to the site and dump the liquid content into the digester, mix up with the solid waste, and out of that we generate gas, and that can be done in the villages where these facilities are not there, or even in the cities where these facilities are not readily available. The truck drivers, they just dump it in nearby bushes. They contaminate the groundwater, like I said. They contaminate runoff water. They contaminate, the entire environment, and even the stench. Meanwhile, this can be done in a proper way. There's another threat that we need to talk about. That is oil. Apart from the edible oil, industrial oil. It's also a huge source of contamination. I'm sure if you change the oil in your car, you don't know where it goes.
I don't know.
So those are some of the things that we need to be careful about. The industrial oil or the engine oil can be recycled. There's technology that can recycle it. So along that chain also, a lot of activities can be developed.
So Raymond, waste is a resource.
Yeah.
But if I put you in a car right now and you drive for 10 minutes from Joy, anywhere around.
Yes.
You see this resource all over the place.
Yeah.
Why is it so?
There are many reasons. I think first of all, the system we have put in place to manage the waste is not working. We pretend to decentralize waste collection. We said these assemblies to be or MMDAs should be in charge of waste management, but that system is really not working. You see a lot of informal economy workers or informal sector workers driving the tricycles, collecting the waste. They look around, nobody is watching them, and then they dump it. They have to run and go and collect another one. So that system has to be looked at very well. Secondly, because we don't segregate waste as source, it's also a problem. So solving that aspect also, we have to pay attention to a lot of education. People must understand that for waste to be managed properly, they have to come in different components. But if we don't do that, the waste is mixed up. It's very difficult to handle or to make, to recycle. Like I mentioned, these components have to be done separately. So if you mix it up, it's a problem. And that is one of the reasons why we are not able to channel this into the various chains. So I think basically it comes back to us, ourselves, and then the system we have put in place.
So you said the system we've put in place is not working.
Yes.
And we pretend to decentralize waste management. And then you've also mentioned a bit about public education and our own contribution.
Yes.
In your own way, how do we make the system work?
Okay. Thank you for that question. I think to make the system work, there are two things that one of two things must happen. There should either be an incentive or there
For
should be
who?
for whoever is generating the waste. So an incentive, for example, for if you generate waste and segregate it very well, you have an incentive. Or there should be punishment for not doing so.
Okay.
One of them must happen. That's how I see it. And you know, the first one, incentive system, is more sustainable, and then it is easier to implement, because you can't go about, you know, punishing everybody who doesn't segregate their. But if there's an incentive system, and I can give you an example that we implemented effectively in Ashaman. When we started, we thought that we're just building a processing plant where we process the waste. So people would naturally bring their waste for us to we even charge them for dumping at our site. That was how the model was designed. But we were wrong. We noticed that people rather want to sell their waste to us. So we went to, but you know, our model is such that we also don't want to buy waste. So that was the nexus we needed to overcome. So we went to the market and noticed that there's a lot of organic waste in the market, and yet people are not willing to bring it to us and pay for dumping. So let me use the tomato seller as an example. The tomato seller, at the end of the day, she's not able to sell maybe half the basket of tomatoes. They are getting rotten, so she has to go and dump it in a Zoom Lion container in the corner of the market and pay 5 cedis for dumping. Then they say, why don't you give this to us? Come and dump it at our side, even for free. They said, no, I came to the market, I couldn't sell my tomatoes, I should give it to you to do electricity for free. No, I will not do that. They said, okay. But then, no, so what we ended up doing is that we gave these women in the market very clean containers with lids, and then throughout the day, they put in their organic component, like the tomatoes. All the rotten ones are going into that container that has a very clean lid, so it doesn't smell. Then we have some tricycles we bought for some boys within the town. They drive through the market 2 or 3 times a day and lift those clean containers and bring to our site. Now you see, if the tomato woman is able to do the segregation very well, at the end of the day, she's left with some maybe biscuit wrapper she bought in the afternoon, and something that she would dump, let's say, once a week, and pay the 5 cedis once a week to Zoom Lion, instead of every day 5 cedis. So that's an incentive exactly. So instead of paying directly to the woman for the rotten tomatoes, you give it to us for free. Our boys will come and lift it themselves. You save your money, your 5 cedis every day, and then you pay it only once a week. So that's a lot of win-win situation for everybody in the chain. You know, so these are some of the things we need to think about and then make it work for all of us.
I'm sure there are lots of people asking, what other ways can they also make money in the waste system? When we return from this break, I want you to give us those ideas, how all of us can make money from waste and convert waste to wealth and get rid of the pollutants from our environment. Back, we are still live on the Sustainability Month on the Super Morning Show. Some of your messages. This one says, good morning. Kindly organize a clip of the ongoing conversation on waste. We need to circulate it widely. We are streaming online, so we will share the clip again. And somebody is asking us what is wrong with us, that we are sitting on money and we are not really taking advantage of this. This one says, say a big thank you to your guests for this conversation. Let them know how very valuable this conversation is and needs to be disseminated widely. So Raymond, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us this morning. I know we can go on and on and on and on and on, but these are, like I always say on the Sustainability Month, now the month of August is the Joy Sustainability Month. So we are going to have these conversations every year, but it doesn't only stay within the month of August. We will bring them into other day parts and other conversations, so that together we'll build the Ghana we want and leave a legacy for future generations. But before we went on the break, I asked for you to give us some tips how we can make money from waste.
Thank you. So in fact, there are so many ways. All the component of waste I mentioned, all of them have potential money-making opportunities. So you see, the chain is very long. So you just have to plug in yourself at one point of the chain, whether you want to do aggregation, you want to do transportation, you want to do, all those things in the chain can give you a lot of money. I remember some time ago, I was working with some group of environmentalists, and then one of the things we're promoting is to see if we can even get there are a lot of fan clubs, a lot of youth groups around. Just encourage them to pick plastics around their area, aggregate it, and they can sell it for a lot of money to fund their own activities in the groups. Some schools can even do that to improve internally generated funds. And I mean, even at home, if you want to save money, I'm sure your waste collection company comes to pick your waste X number of times in a week. If you're able to segregate your the component, the organic component, and compost it at home, you reduce the volume of waste, and then the company that picks your waste comes a less number of times, and that is money you are saving. And that's money you are saving. You can do that for plastic, you can do that for organics, you can do that for other components of the waste, and that will give you a lot of money. So there are many ways that people are doing this. If you have a bit of resources, you can go into the processing or the recycling itself. Lot of money to be made. You can join forces with other people, get the plant and then process the waste. And I mean,
so there's an opportunity for investors. It's not a captured market.
Not at all. The market is so big, and it's evolving very fast. People are using technology. There's AI system now being deployed in Kenya, for example, right here in Africa. They're using AI system to do source segregation, and so the market is evolving very fast. So much is happening.
Is it true some countries are importing waste to process?
Yes, we heard that about Switzerland some time ago, but I mean, to some extent, yes, it's true. Even in Ashaman, where our Safisana plant is, Ashaman generates close to 100 tons of waste a day, and the plant is designed to handle about 35 tons. But we are not able to get the 35 tons within Ashaman because of the mixed nature of the waste. So we have to go to Tema.
Importing waste
exactly. So that is very possible.
We will import you again and bring you to continue the conversation. Exactly. There's even a conversation on agric waste management. There's a lot to talk about. Ray, promise me that when we call you again, you'll come, because we are not done with this conversation. Thank you so much, Raymond, for joining us this morning to talk about waste to wealth here on the Super Morning Show.